Okay, so if you have low back tightness or low back pain, this is for you. We are going to do a couple lacrosse ball releases specifically to relieve low back pain and tightness. We're spending a little bit of time releasing those hips and, of course, right into that back. So make sure you have a lacrosse ball and a yoga block. We're going to use the yoga block a little later. So for now, make sure you have some space. We're going to start by putting the lacrosse ball in our QL. So your QL runs from your spine here all the way up to the bottom of those ribs on a diagonal. So you're going to put that ball right there. So in that space between your hip, above your hip, below your ribs, off onto one side. I'm going to start on my right side. I want you to do this with me. So we've got that ball right in there on that QL. So in order to create the pressure, we want to push down into the ball. So you're going to shorten that distance between your ribs and your hips. And now you're going to slightly roll onto that right side. So turning onto that right side puts that ball on the angle exactly where you need it to sort of smush the muscle right into your spine. You're going to grab your bottom leg. So this is our right leg because we are on the right side. And then from here, you should feel already a little more pressure going into that ball. Now take your right arm and I want you to extend it overhead. By extending that arm, you're going to feel that ball going deeper into that muscle, and then you're going to release that arm. We're going to repeat that. So extend, whoo, I'm falling over, and release. We're going to do this 5 times. So this is number 3, and release, 4, press that back into the ball to get a little deeper if you can handle it. And then here's our last one. So we're not spending a ton of time creating too much inflammation in that area. We are just trying to get some pressure there, release some of those adhesions, and then once we stop, that blood flow comes back. And that's really what is very helpful with these releases. So take that ball. We're going to do our left side. So same spot, just above that hip bone, just below those ribs. Okay, we're on it, and we're going to shorten that distance, sort of press the back into the ball, and then now we're rolling towards our left. So we're on that angle. You're going to really feel it here. Grab the left shin. So you're bringing that knee in towards your chest, and now we're going to extend our left arm above our head and release. We're going to do this 5 times. So reach that arm overhead and release. If 5 feels a little aggressive for you, if this is your first time trying to do a QL release, stick with 3. You really don't need a lot to get that release happening here. So we're just going to do 1 more all together, if you're still with me, for our 5. Then from here, we're going to move down into our glutes. So let's come back to the right side. We're going to put this ball underneath that right glute. Now what I want you to do is bring your right ankle up to that knee, and we're just going to spend a bit of time rolling around here and finding some of those areas where you need to hang out a little bit. So if you find a spot that's like, whoo, okay, I want you to hang out there. You can even just hang out there still, or you can add a little bit of pressure by moving slightly. Don't be too aggressive here. Okay, we're not trying to create so much inflammation in this area that it has to spend a lot of time recovering. We're just trying to get more blood flow here. So we're squishing those muscles, breaking things down just a little bit so that after we release this, your blood returns to that muscle, and that's where you get that benefit. So that's it. We're going to switch sides. So there's just about 30 seconds per side. So now, same thing. We're going to move over to the left glute. Left ankle comes up over the right knee. And you're just going to move that around. Find some of those areas. For me, it's a little bit more on that side, like right. If I go laterally, like outside here of that glute, I can feel that real forever through the whole body. Okay, so we're moving around just slightly, exploring essentially. This is also going to help you activate those glutes a little bit more because we're connecting our brains to those glutes, which will also help in the long term release some of that low back pain if your glutes start activating and do more of the work that they should be. So there, that is it on the left side. And we're going to finish by releasing the psoas right into that hip flexor. So the psoas are really deep muscles and they can also cause a lot of problems. So here's where you're going to need that yoga block. And what we're going to do is we're going to place the ball on the yoga block, and that's just going to help us get it deeper into that muscle. And so I should actually show you where we're going to place this. If you find your hip bone, sort of the point that sticks furthest out of that hip bone, you're going to have this ball just inside the sort of pointy part. Okay, have that ball just inside. Now, it is hard to get that there, so what you're going to do to get that is just put the ball on your yoga block, and you're going to lower your body down onto the block without that ball rolling away from you. So you want to get right into that spot. Once you're down here, I'm going to adjust so I'm still in view of you. So we're on our right side again. Okay, once we're here, just adjust it just to make sure you've got it just inside that hip bone. If you're in that right spot, you will know it's sensitive in there. So what we're going to do here, rather than just holding still, we're going to make this a dynamic release. So I'm going to have you bend your right knee and extend. Bend and extend. We're going to do 5 of these. So this is 3, 4, last one, and then for 5, you're going to stay up here. So now we're going to do some cross friction. So we're going to let that ankle or heel fall to the side and then across the midline. So we're keeping that knee bent as we tilt that leg side to side. We're going to do 5 of these. So this is number 2, 3. You're feeling that release differently by moving sideways across that fiber. So 1 more. And then the last one we're going to do here is we're going to tuck our toes under on the ground. You're going to squeeze your glutes and extend that knee so you're lifting off the ground, digging a little deeper into that ball and release. So again, squeeze your glutes, straighten that right knee, sink into that ball. Try not to guard, so let yourself sink into the ball here. I know it's tender, but this is going to help you. Okay, we've got 2 more on this right side. And last one right here. All right, last but not least, we're going to switch sides. We're going to do the same thing on the left. So get your ball in place. You're going to lower yourself onto that ball. And I've got mine way too high. Okay, so just adjust it once you're down there. And we are going to do the same thing. So this one for me, way more tender. Okay, we're going to start by bending that knee. Bring your heel to your bum 5 times. This is 2, 3. Again, we're trying to sink into that ball. 4. If this feels really aggressive for you, again, do a few less. This is 5. Okay, we're staying up here, and now we're going to go with our cross friction. So we're going to let that ankle drop to the side and across the midline for 5. So you can do less, or you can press harder into the floor with your forearms. That's going to take some of your body weight off of the ball and allow this to not be so aggressive right at the start. So this is 4 times back and forth. We're going to do 1 more here. And then I want you to finish by tucking those toes under, squeeze your glutes, straighten that leg. 1, we're doing 5, 2, 3, last 2, 4, and final one right here, 5. There you go. So add this into your routine, especially if you've been feeling that low back tightness or low back pain. This is just truly going to help release those muscles and have you activating everything a little bit more effectively while you're doing your strength training. Let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing you on the internet.